Hello and welcome back to the garden. Well, the time has come for me to harvest my Tropea onions. These onions are known for being one of the most expensive onions you can buy in the world. They're normally grown over in Calabria in Italy, but I've given it a go at growing them here in Norfolk. Let's see what they look like. Now there are actually two varieties of onion in here. We've got the Tropea onions at the front, which are the red ones, and I think they're called Ramata di Milano, the white ones towards the back. Both from Franchi Seeds, and they've both grown really well too. I've already had a couple of the Tropea ones up out the ground to taste, and they're exactly what I wanted, something really sweet. Still has that slight heat that you'd expect from an onion, but it's the kind of thing that I can tell it's going to be perfect either raw or to be used in cooking. Let's get some up and have a quick look at what they look like. Looks to me like this one might have a bit of damage, so it might not store very well, but I'm sure I can still get some bits off it to eat. An interesting point that a lot of people raise when they talk about growing onions is, well, what's the point? They're so cheap in the shops, at least here in the UK. They're pennies really. What's the point in growing them yourself? And I think this perfectly illustrates it. There's interesting varieties out there that you can grow from seed or sets that you can't find otherwise in supermarkets. And I know that this particular variety I could find in the UK, in London, and perhaps online as well, but they'd be incredibly expensive to buy. And by doing it myself, I have that satisfaction of knowing that I did it, and I can compare what I've grown to those that I've tried over in Italy on holiday as well. I knew that these were going to be ready for harvesting because, as you can see, the tops are just naturally falling over, and that means they're ready to come up. Once these have all been pulled up, we're working on the red ones now, but I'll lay them all down on this bed, leave them out in the sun, just to dry out that outer layer, which will help them store better over those cooler months. But fingers crossed, they should store okay. I know the white ones have a long storage life. These ones, the Tropea ones, have never grown before, so we'll just see how that goes. Well, here are all of the Tropea onions, and I know I've had a bigger harvest in the past, but I genuinely think this is an exciting variety to cook with, so I'm not so fussed that I haven't got quite as many as previous years, and that some of the bulbs aren't quite as big as previous years either. Each variety is slightly different, so I have to expect variation, but really excited to cure these and get cooking with them. So let's get those yellow ones out the ground and see what the Ramata di Milano look like. This variety seems to have much larger bulbs. There's a bit more of a kind of traditional yellow cooking onion. But I'm excited to try it, be interested to see what they're like. There's so many different varieties from Italy that you can get from places like Franchi Seeds, Seeds of Italy, or eBay. Lots of bits and pieces on there. Amazon too. Always worth having a look around, see what you can find. But yeah, these are looking pretty good. I'm happy with them. Like I said, I haven't grown as many as in previous years, but I think these are going to be well used. Right, let's lay them all out so they're ready to be cured by the sun. I think these will be okay like that, and we'll do the same over here. They're all pretty much laid out in an okay position anyway. So hopefully in about a week or so, these will dry, the skins will all brown up, and they'll be ready to store and put away for the next few months. They'll certainly get used up. So let's have a look at a few other things that are going on in the garden. I'm sure that a lot of you who are over in the UK, or perhaps follow people in the UK, will know there's been a huge heat wave recently, which has meant that quite a few things have bolted. I've tried a few new varieties of things like beetroot. You can see here is going to seed. I now know this variety isn't particularly resistant to bolting. Also things like Swiss chard have struggled a bit, and lettuce as well. They've been okay. They've all been used and had good crops and harvests, but the plants just haven't lasted as long as they normally do. So I'm now at a point where I probably need to get some of these up, do some direct sowing to fill in the gaps, and also maybe try and do some sowing in the house rather than in the greenhouse of things like lettuce, because it's been so hot that lettuce just hasn't wanted to germinate. So I think I now need to find a cooler spot in the house to do that. The temperatures we've been having, I even question whether they would germinate with direct sowing. So some things to play around with, but overall the harvest has been pretty good. I've had some things like padrone peppers, which has been great outside. I've never grown them outdoors before. They've been a real success. Plenty of those coming through now. And also the squash are loving it. A little bit of complaining with some wilting and things like that, but after a bit of water they're fine. Of course though, that's going to be a bigger challenge now because we've got the hose pipe ban. But luckily my 3 water butts are full, and I can still water by hand with a watering can. So there we go. Anyway, just a quick video today. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed it, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.